Get a notepad up too as well. How are you today?
Good. I was following you on Twitch, but I think I'm gonna disconnect Twitch and just talk with you, right?
All right. I have a notepad ready. What matchup did you want to work on or look at?
Yeah. So I had a few. I had actually one TVP and a few TVT. You hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, great. Um, cool. Well, thanks for making the time again.
Not a problem, my man. Not a problem. Everyone's
Yeah.
busy, yourself included. So like, not a problem. I don't mind making the time to do these things. So, you say you want to look at TVT and TVP. Are you on NA or EU? I can.
I'm on EU.
You're on EU. Okay.
Yeah.
Most of my replays are on America.
Okay.
I will switch over to EU for now, just because you have all your replays there, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll go over some of your replays. We'll look at kind of what like the first big mistakes are, that kind of thing, and then we'll kind of see how you play the matchup and how you want to play the matchup, and we'll just go over it from there. Join the chat channel, Misery.
Sorry, which
in all chat, just type /join Misery.
Sorry, where are you gonna type that?
In the chat bar at the bottom right when you're logged in.
Okay, yeah, on Battle on StarCraft 2 server.
Yeah. Just /join space Misery.
Okay, I'm gonna type that.
As soon as I see in there, I will invite you to a party.
Okay, cool.
You can get this party started. And we do have some potential helpers in chat, and if there's something I missed, then we'll go over that.
Okay, cool. The multi-pronged feedback.
Yeah.
Okay, so I type join Misery.
I don't see you in there yet. It should just be like, oh, there we go, Manulorc.
Yeah.
There we go. We'll do that.
Great.
So where are we working with? This is 3,500. Okay.
Yeah, I'm quickly Diamond 3.
Okay. Cool. We can definitely find something to work with here. So just let's start off with a replay. Pick any replay. It doesn't matter if it's a win or a loss. Any of your most recent Terran versus Terran or Terran versus Protoss replays, and we'll go over that.
So we have one loss against Terran yesterday.
Okay.
Let me see if I can. Okay.
Can you make me host for the lobby?
Sorry. How do I make you host again?
Just right click on my name, and then should be make lobby host.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm talking about?
Okay, I just made you party leader, but that's not the same thing as host.
No. There's a thing that says create or make lobby host, and that's what we're looking for.
Okay, are we still in the is it still in the replay?
Yeah, we're in the lobby screen or the Sorry.
Okay, I'm in the lobby screen. Yeah.
Yep. So now there should be, if you right click on my name, there should be.
Yeah,
there we go. Perfect.
All right, thanks.
Yep. Not a problem, dude. Not a problem. I'm pretty flexible as far as time goes too. I've still got lots of time, so don't worry about that either. Let's take a look at. So first off, we're gonna look at your opening, and then we're gonna kind of look at what it's like. All right, I guess my first question is, how do you like to play the matchup? Do you like to be the aggressive one, or do you want to just kind of like macro up and get like a big army and kind of sit back?
Yeah, I mean, I like both of them. Like many people, I guess I would say I'm better at macro than micro, though I don't know if that's true.
Okay.
Um, I I used to open a lot with the Reaper Fast Expand,
Mm-hmm.
and I always got butchered by early aggression. So now I'm more opening, like I get 2 Reapers, 1 Hellion out,
Yep.
and I get 1 Cyclone, 4 Marines, 1 Medivac, and I attack with all of this. Um, that gives me a bit of punch early. I typically don't kill the opponent there, or I typically don't even inflict a lot of damage, but it gives me punch. It helps me manage the early rush as well. And then I just go for a normal bio macro. So, you know, 3 barracks, then 5 barracks, 2 factories. I mean, that's, and then I just macro out of there. But I mean, TVT is just extremely complex. I think I definitely know that one thing I'm struggling with is just I'm still somewhat addicted to F2, and that's just disastrous for TVT, because as soon as I gather all my soldiers, then I lose my vision, and that can be just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I also don't know that my build order is perfect. I'm sure we can definitely poke in there, but that's my general philosophy. Yeah.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was just taking notes while you were talking. That's all. And once we're done, I'll give you all the notes that I have.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so let's get going here. I'm getting used to this game hard overlay thing, so just don't mind me. All right, depot, gas. That's good. Should always go gas first in this matchup. Barracks. This is just something little. It's not even a mistake, but something I prefer is to build the barracks somewhere like right here in TVT, and that'll help. It'll help you a little bit more with Proxy Reaper, I find, because you can put a bunker where your barracks currently is. If you find out, like if you scout and you find out it's a Proxy Reaper attack, it's just it's a little thing. It's not even like, again, this isn't a mistake at all. You're doing fine, but it's just a preference I have. I'll always build my barracks like right here, like close to the CC, but not so close that add-ons or anything will block units trying to pass by.
Okay.
So that's just something you can get used to doing. I only do it in this matchup because if I'm getting Proxy Reapered, I will probably I'll build a bunker where your barracks is, and if I think it's 3 racks Reaper, I'll build like another bunker over here on the left side.
Yeah, so I also actually there is something I never know, which is when I scout at 17. So I 17 scout, then I get to the opponent's base, and then I'm gonna see 2 depots. Basically, he's gonna block me vision. He's gonna block 2 depot and a barrack, and then I'm always hesitant about. I mean, I assume it's not a Reaper Fast Expand. That's clear. But then anything else, I have no idea what it is, and I've been struggling quite a bit because sometimes I build like 2 bunkers in reaction, and it's like an overreaction compared to what he did, and sometimes I underreact by building another bunker. So I'm curious, like when you try to scout and you get like scouting denied because he basically walled his main, like what's your typical reaction?
So if I get to his base and it's already if you're 17 scouting and he already has it walled off, usually that's indicative of some sort of cheesy play. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to build a bunker, because like you said, it could be a 1-1-1 that he's just hiding. So what I would do is I would just build the CC on your high ground and just have your units on your high ground ready to go. And what I mean by that is don't really take too much time away from your units. Make sure they're hotkeyed to something, and make sure that if he does try to jump up, say he has 2 barracks over here plus the barracks at his main, and you got there and you didn't see it, at least if your units are ready at one of these ramps, then you'll be able to react quicker. And if you're going double gas with a factory, it's a pretty safe build overall, and you should be able to hold most of it with pulling a couple of SCVs with your first Reaper. that said, you could also leave your scouting SCV outside, around here somewhere, so you can see if he's going to plant an CC down, because it's possible he just plants a late CC. So those are a couple of things you can do. But you could just build. The safest thing would just be to, build your CC like right here, where the jump up point is. You can build your natural there and then float it down. Is it ideal? No, but it's safer against something like that, and it'll make it easier for you to micro your units on the high ground if he is going like 3-Rax Reaper or something like that. Usually when they wall off like that, it's not going to be 3-Rax Reaper. It'll be because they want to use every bit of minerals to get those 2 extra Raxes. They won't build the second depot that quickly, but it might instead be a 1-1-1 tank push or a drop of some kind that they're trying to hide. That's usually what it is. But at 3,500, it's totally hard to say. You're gonna have to be diligent with your scouting, so we'll get to that shortly.
Cool.
So there goes the 17 scout. Your second gas should be starting right now, unless you're going Reaper or just 1 Reaper expand. So the second gas was a little bit late.
Yeah.
It's okay. When that happens, it just means that it's going to delay our starport and our factory a little bit.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And then our Reaper was also a little bit delayed there. We had enough gas, but we didn't build the Reaper right away. So just as we delay things, we have to expect... Now, it's 3,500, but we want to expect that our opponent is going to play everything perfectly. Now, what I mean by that is his Reaper is already a little bit ahead of yours, and he's going Reaper expand. He's going for quick expansion, no second gas, and his Reaper is already about 5 seconds faster than yours. And that, it doesn't seem like much, but it can if he decides to build another Reaper and then a Hellion. So in this situation, you are probably wanting to be the aggressor because you have 2 gas and he's going to expand, and you're going to see that he's expanding. So as soon as that barracks finishes, you should be selecting it and pressing R every time. You can see in the production that yours is about 5 seconds behind, and it's little things like that.
Definitely behind.
Yeah, it's little things like that that'll slowly kind of build up, especially in TVT. You'll notice in a lot of TVTs, once one player has a small lead, they can take a lot from that small lead and turn it into a much larger lead. So if you killed, say, 5 workers in TVP or TVZ, not the worst if you lose 5 workers. If you lose 5 workers in TVT, that can be huge, because that means maybe he can afford his 3rd CC faster, or his production, and you're kind of playing catch up for the rest of the game. And because you both use the same units, it just kind of multiplies, and especially when it comes to if he gets faster upgrades with Marines versus your Marines. One small thing can lead into a much bigger problem. So definitely get the Reaper out as soon as possible. All right.
Cool.
So let's see here. We'll do that. Reaper ASAP when barracks finishes. And it might sound like I'm nitpicking things, but I want to be as thorough as possible, as if I was looking at one of my own replays. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
Factory comes down all right. Now, if we want to do a typical expand build off of this, like 3 Reaper, 2 Hellion, we would pull guys off of gas right now. We would pull 2 off of one gas and 1 guy off the other gas.
Yeah, I think that's what I do. I just was a bit late.
Okay.
The rest.
Okay. Oh yeah, here we go. We're pulling 2 and 2. We should pull 1 more just so that we can afford the CC a little faster. And then the SCV building the supply depot goes back to a gas to make it 2-2. And the SCV building the factory rallies to your natural to build your CC.
Yep.
Okay. So we didn't rally an SCV. We don't have much vision.
How would you expect me to have vision?
If we are going 2 gas against his 1 gas, we should always send our units across early. We don't want to. Yes. Because we should have more. We should have our units faster than him. Our factory should be faster than his. So say if you're just going 2 Reaper, 1 Hellion opening, and then going into Starport and Cyclone after that, then you should have your units on his side of the map. There's no reason not to if you're hitting your timings right now. And he's actually building a reactor after the first Reaper. So with that said, 2 Reapers and a Hellion show up, he has nothing other than 1 Reaper. You win that fight and potentially not kill the CC, but delay it. And any bit of delaying, again, helps you catch up with your CC. And then you're already ahead tech-wise, right? Because your factory's done, your starport's going to come next. So we're playing too defensive with our units. We want to have, if we're going 2 gas opening and we SCV scouted, the whole point of that SCV scout is to see if he's going 1 gas or 2 gas opening. So if you see the 1 gas opening, we should be a little more aggressive with our units. We should have them on his side of the map.
Cool. Makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So reactor. So we're, yeah. Like this is our scouting crew and we're not scouting. Once the bunker goes up, you can't really do much else, but at least knowing that, because right now we just know that he's expanded.
Yeah, I mean, my plan, and maybe it's not the right one, but my plan is to, again, collect 4 Marines, 1 Medivac, 1 Cyclone, and the early crew of 3 to do a push.
Yeah, that's all right. You can definitely do like an elevator on this map, which works pretty well with all those units. But there's no reason why we don't have to sacrifice the units, but there's no reason we can't be chilling like over here or over here with the Hellions Reapers.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
We've got a Raven
especially
out,
against a fast expand.
Second Cyclone. Yeah. If he's going 2 gas, then it's a little different. Then you can play a little more defensive if you want. You can have your units hanging out on like this ramp over here. And that way, if he tries to go straight up the ramp, you get the first shot off and win the fight. And if he also stays back, you guys kind of just, go even. So
yeah.
But then I have to be more aggressive with units if you scout 1 gas. So we go across, we're at the front,
and obviously then area has a bunker, so that
we see the bunker. We should not, as soon as that bunker, we should not be engaging here. We lost every Marine for nothing. And the Cyclone. Okay. So
that wasn't my best move for sure. Yeah.
That's all right. You know what? We all make mistakes. I've made mistakes. You'd be surprised the really silly things I do when I'm playing. But when we see that bunker, that's just a sign to turn around, and then we can either try to drop in the main, because in the main he does have a Marine spotter on the edge and he does have a tank, but it's there's a lot less there. It's 1 tank that you could potentially just drop right on top of that tank and kill it with the Cyclone and Marines. And while that's happening, maybe your Reapers and your Hellion are sitting out front and can get in when he pulls everything. But to walk up like that, that's a big deal. And losing factory units early in TVT is also a big deal. If either one of you are going Ravens, or it looks like you both are, you're both going for Raven openings, those factory units are incredibly useful early on, either to soak up a spell when he uses his disables, or just to be able to actually kill the turrets when either one of you are placing your turrets. So losing Cyclones, losing tanks, losing anything for free like that this early is very, it's very pivotal. It makes a big difference for both of you. It makes it a lot easier for him to push against you, even though you opened up more aggressive with your gas, and it just sets you a little even further behind. So at this point, I wouldn't say it's over, but you're down 12 supply. You're down 7 workers because of the build order choice that you guys, not saying your build order is wrong or bad, but that's just what happens when one player opens up 7.
Definitely I'm behind. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so it's just what happens when one player opens up gas first, or 2 gas versus 1 gas. Usually the 1 gas player will jump ahead a bit in supply for workers, but you're also behind now in army units, and he just has better units. He has 2 tanks and you have 1 Cyclone about to pop out. The medevac's nice, and you're both gonna have Ravens. The medevac is definitely useful early on, but it's looking grim already. But we'll keep going here. Speed it up just a little bit. We also have enough for our 3rd CC at this point. We should be throwing our 3rd CC down. There it is. Perfect. That's good. you're realizing when you're getting high in minerals and you're spending them properly. So that's really good to see. 2 barracks should be popping down. You have 1. Looks like the second SCV was going, but
yeah, I wanted to, but I didn't have enough cash when I asked, so it's a bit delayed. Yeah,
that's all right. And before pulling everything back here, yeah, it's a little scary losing the Cyclone and the Marines, but the Reapers and the Hellion don't really help at all in the next fight. So there's no reason to not leave 1 here, 1 here, and maybe 1 here. Because you have all 3 of the units. You want to see when he moves out with his 3rd base, or if he moves out with his army. If we have everything at home, if we have everything at home, we don't have the information we need to react accordingly. Because right now you're kind of scared. You're playing with the Cyclone and 1 Raven, like you're expecting a drop, but we haven't seen any medevacs yet. And you're sieged up at the front here, which is fine. It's good to be sieged up here. It's not a bad idea by any means. But if I saw what you have seen, I would maybe have my tank sieged up over here, just so it's covering the ramp. Yeah. You would only have your tank set up where it is now if you were afraid of a drop in your natural. So a drop in your natural. So if he's dropping over here, then that tank is in a great position. If he's not dropping your natural, if you've seen Ravens and no medevacs, then that tank is actually not in a great place, because he can siege up down here and hit your ramp and your production, and that tank is effectively doing nothing.
Ah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
that's a very good point. Yeah.
So your tank should be a little bit forward.
Instead. Yeah.
If there's no medevacs. So we'll put that.
Yeah.
So let's see what else we got here. He's getting his 2 barracks. Our opponent's floating a lot. You're getting 2 NG bays at the right time. That's good. We do need, and you're building your supply depots. You're not going to get blocked here. That's really good to see. We haven't seen any major blocks. Now here's his push out. This is where the Reapers would have been very keen. You do have a Scouter Marine out, which is good. It's good to see that, because even I forget that you have 2 Scouter Marines out. But if we had the Reapers out at both 3rd locations, we'd see this move out. We might still see it, but if we saw it right when they passed the 3rd base, we could have everything ready at the front rather than having units in our main. Because right now those units in our main are not going to be useful. All right, your Marine sees that. Okay, we see the push. You reacted to the push. We should be almost F2ing everything to the front.
It should be.
It looks like we are. Okay, good. And look at that. You got the tank. You're covering the ramp. Perfect. This is great. Uses 1 disable. Throw down our auto turrets now. Oh, we crushed this. Oh, but we have air control and we didn't do that. All right. That's good. We didn't win that as effectively as we could have, but that was still a win.
So how could I have won it?
How could we have done that differently?
Yeah.
You were so close. You had the perfect idea. You were doing exactly what I talked about, actually. We'll go back a little bit further. So watch your second tank. So you see the push coming. We'll fast forward a little bit. So you do the perfect thing here with that tank. But remember how that first tank is in a useless position that we talked about? It's not doing anything there. If he were to like try and dive straight onto that first tank, then yeah, the second tank's going to do some work. But he's stuck on the ramp there. So if the second tank is, right next to the first one, or just, a little bit closer to the first one, then, if the one at the CC was closer to the one that's further out, then you just annihilate this push. Like, it's not even close. He only has 1 Raven. You only have 1 Raven, I think, too. But and you had the right idea. You threw down missile turret or auto turrets, and he threw down a disable. Disable at this stage isn't very good, and you'll see why. Because the turrets are just way better early on. The disable is better later when there's larger tank counts and larger armies, and the second tank is just, if it's already sieged up while he's moving in like that, you crush this, because it gets probably 2 or 3 shots off before his thing even set up.
That makes sense. I wouldn't have lost the second tank.
Yeah, you wouldn't have really lost
mean,
anything, I don't think. I think you would have just
I
killed
didn't have,
everything.
yeah.
Because I actually just
yeah.
noticed you had 2 ravens to his 1.
Fair point.
Alright. We're switching add-ons, that's good. How are we going to spend our bank? +1/1 should be starting. He's taking his 3rd. You started the orbital already. Stim, 2 more barracks. 4th gas should also be taken, and an armory. And then we've pretty much spent our bank effectively here. We don't really need the 2 gases at the 3rd yet, but that's one way to spend our money. That's alright.
Yeah, I could have done that.
That's okay. The only thing I would say you're missing here is a 2nd factory in production. When we get to our 3 base economy, we want to be on 5 barracks, 2 factory, and a starport if we're going biotank against Terran. Unless you want to, go really heavy bio against a mech player, then you would want to add like 3 more barracks instead of the 2nd factory. Let's see here. But we're spending our money well. We're not missing a ton of SCV cycles. Our main and our natural are both well saturated. We just have to take off that, or send that 3rd CC over. And you have Scouter Marines. You're doing this probably better than I do some days. There's some days where I just completely never send out Scouter Marines, so that's good.
It's just the tank push can be pretty traumatizing. So I have this scar, of like all the times where let me show up at your doorstep and you're like, damn.
TVT is very position dependent. So what you're doing is awesome as far as that the Scouter Marines go. They're covering all pathways. The only thing you're missing is maybe one to look out for a Doom drop down here. You've got them everywhere else. And you're getting Vikings too, which is good. That'll usually you want to get a couple of Vikings before medevac, so you got that down. You even send one down to scout for a drop. That's good. He's scanning you. Around this time, if you're worried about drops too, I would scan to see his army or scan to see his main to see what his comp is going to be and how you want to react to it. So if we look to your vision, oh, I guess you know what, you did see all of his.
Okay. Did scan.
You did scan.
I did scan his base because I don't want to be. Sorry, I don't want to be facing a player if I'm going all bio with Marines. I want to adjust and build Marauders.
You even got your 2nd factory here. That's good. Our armory is late though. Our 1/1 is finished and we don't have an armory for 2/2.
Yeah. Good one.
And now we're a little supply blocked. So do you know the supply timings at this point? We should be building probably 2 or 3 at a time once we have our 3rd base economy.
Yeah.
So we're building we're building like 4 right now. That's good. That'll help out. But just to kind of ease the transition a little bit, 2 to 3 at a time once we get our 3rd base and our production up. And then on this map, I like to build a forward sensor tower about right here. Because that'll cover almost all your drop path on that side of the map. And if he's trying to move out with a tank push with all of his bio and everything, it's gonna cover most of your economy. It's gonna cover the push paths over here. It's gonna cover over here. It's gonna cover over here. So having that sensor tower there, his is kind of useless. It only covers his 3rd base that's really far away from everything. He does have missile turrets covering his main, which I wouldn't recommend doing what he just did with his, because you could, if you wanted to, if you were the type of player to Doom drop, you could pick everything up and go to the very north side, and 4 of his missile turrets do absolutely nothing. That's basically a command center. But yeah.
Yeah. I think he's going to build another one of tower.
Yeah. We have the gas for a sensor tower, though, and that's where I would recommend putting it, is like right here.
Yeah.
It covers you best, and the only way that you're really going to have to worry about is from the north side, and if you have Scouter Marines like you do, you can react accordingly. So that's good. Your Scouter Marines are great. Again, not trying to nitpick, just trying to be as thorough as possible.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Their supplier. Supply's looking all right. Just gotta keep getting depots. I'm not a fan of forward depots in TVT.
Really?
Yeah. not the way that you have them, because if he did tank push you, and say you ended up having to, you got pushed behind the depots, because he does have air superiority, he has a lot of Vikings. So if he was pushing in this choke here, he could actually shell all of your depots with his tanks, and you're gonna eat a very nasty supply block. Like if 4 of your depots died in the front here, right there, because he has tanks on the other, because he has tanks right here, or even on the high ground, then you're gonna eat the worst supply block at the absolute worst time, because he's on your doorstep and he's killing all of your depots. So something I usually do is I just kind of build them behind my main. Once my main starts mining out, I have a lot of extra SCVs there anyways, and you know, you should be transferring them to a 4th if you have a 4th ready, but we don't have a 4th ready, so they should be building the depots back there instead, just so they're safer, because there's nothing worse than getting supply blocked and he's knocking on your doorstep. If he's knocking on your doorstep and you get supply blocked, then you're probably dead, because you can't resupply and he's going to keep rallying over. So that's the key.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Against Protoss and Zerg, this is great because it creates choke points for you. But against Terran, because everything he has is ranged, it's not so great. But in the other 2 matchups, this is fine, because then Zealots will get caught, Zerglings and Banelings will get caught, creates choke points for your tanks. It's great. This is a good move out. Nice pick off. We get the sensor tower. Anytime we can deny vision from our opponent, that's good. Pathing, we might lose some units. Ooh,
I
that's
think
scary.
that was quite lucky.
Yeah, all right. That's good. We're okay. Looks like we pretty much have 2'd everything. That's fine at this point. I would still like to see a sensor tower at 1 location and a 4th base started. We don't really have the money for it.
I have a 4th base. I have a 4th base.
Okay,
I'm moving it.
Sorry.
But I didn't put a sensor tower, that's true.
Yeah. Especially when we're moving out. The Scouter Marines are good, but in TVT, players really like the base trade, and I guess we saw his army when we pushed out at his 4th base, but just in case, it's always good to have that sensor tower, because as soon as if you have the forward sensor tower here, or say one up here, then as soon as you see the big splotch of red, you just quick jump back to all of your production and rally it right there, and just siege up any tanks you get and get ready for the base trade, and then you can focus more on your army and doing damage to him, because a lot of players at like the 4300 and above will do that to you. They'll realize that they're kind of scared to take a fight. They think you might, you know, have a better upgrade or have a better position, and they'll say fuck it and just try to go and base trade you. And a lot of Terrans do it, a lot, all the way up to like the highest level. we'll do that. So
good to know.
Again, Scouter Marine's good, sensor tower even better, just because of, again, that you'll see that big red blotch on your mini map. You won't miss it. This is good positioning though. You can get your tanks up close. Oh yeah, you're gonna take advantage of it. I love it. That CC is never gonna finish. That's good. We pull. Oh, nice. And we get disables off. Those are key disables. And we get the stim. This is a really good fight for us, I think.
Well,
are we behind on an upgrade? He's 2-2. Yeah, that's okay. This would be an amazing fight for us if we didn't forget 2-2 and our armory. If our armory was on time, so let's backpedal a little bit before the engagement. Because you have the consciousness to disable the front 2 tanks and get your tanks in better position to win a fight. But he has 2-2, and we're going to see just how much better... We're going to see how much better Marines with an upgrade are against Marines that are behind an upgrade. Yours just started. We could have 2-2 done and 3-3 on the way at this point in the game. We have the money for it. We just forgot our armory for a long time. So, I mean, it's good that we had the consciousness to realize we were behind and to start 2-2. But at this point in the game, we should have it, and it's going to make a huge difference in this fight. Even though you have a huge advantage going in. Getting the disables off with no other units here and you have tanks on the low ground that can protect you, and you're gonna have tanks on the high ground. Like, you took a really good fight here. We're just behind an upgrade. And the supplies are pretty close. You're actually ahead by 10 supply here. So our Marines are just dying faster than his Marines are. His Marines are not going to die compared to your Marines, especially with medevacs healing both, just because that one armor makes a huge difference.
That's crazy.
Yeah. You had a way better fight there. You had way better positioning, and you had disabled 2 tanks, but because he had +1 armor on you and +1 attack on your Marines died and didn't really... It's a huge difference. I can't emphasize that enough.
Yeah. Wow.
And if he gets a 3-3 and you're still 1-1, or 3-3 versus 2-2, you'll see that your Marines, they won't kill like anything. And I've had that happen to me where I'm like, shit, I forgot an upgrade. And then I'm at 2-2, he attacks a 3-3, and all of my Marines just disappear. And even if I had like good tank positioning, it's like, wow, like it's a huge difference. So just something to be mindful of. As soon as 1-1 is about halfway done, start the armory. I'll write that one down just in case. Okay. Because we never want to be, if we're going bio versus bio in TVT, we never want to be behind an upgrade. This is 3500 Mellow Yellow. He has a lot of very good habits. He's doing things better than I do. Like with the Scouting Marines, he's doing that better than I do it. My Scouting Marines are non-existent half the time. And we're actually using that to our advantage here, moving our army. That's great. But now he's adding Liberators. We don't have Liberator defense. We have a few Vikings.
Yeah, I think this is really when shit hits the fan for me.
You're actually doing all right. Again, he's YOLOing into a lot of your tanks. All right, let's... Okay. We're going to go to that fight again, because I think we could have won that.
Hmm?
I think we could have actually jumped on his tanks there. Because he loses all of his Marines trying to go for your tanks and your planetary. You have a very good position here. And I don't know if you know this, but tanks, unless he target fires, will focus the planetary. So, like, that you can use that to your advantage. If his tanks, if he's not paying attention and his tanks are shelling the planetary that you're repairing, you can jump on everything here. Because your tanks are going to hit his units. He doesn't have a planetary with him, obviously. But if his tanks are hitting the planetary, which I think they were, and you almost did it. You almost jumped on his army, but you pulled back, and then you tried to re-engage again. So we'll slow it down. We're still behind enough.
Yeah, this is where I should have jumped on him. Yeah.
Yeah. So at least 2 of his tanks, I think, are going to fire on this planetary. And then we pull back and take more damage and lose Marines, and then we go back into it again. So if we committed there, I'm gonna go back one more time. Sorry, I don't mean to like rub your nose in this.
It's all right.
Not the intention. Okay. We siege the tanks, that's good. He loses all of his Marines, and now we need to just go. If we just go there, he's only got 5 tanks, and 2 of them are hitting the planetary. So really, we only have 3 tanks to worry about, and we had a lot of Marines there. So at that point, I think if we just get on top of his tanks and kill them all, we hold, and we save this base for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
So at this point, I would say it's probably over.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of
sure.
CCs. He's got a 5th base. The supply is not terrible, but we're not going to be able to afford our 3-3. But our biggest, we can nitpick a lot of things, but usually we want to look at the first couple of mistakes. So if we let's see, not scores. Oh, this goes on for another 5 minutes. All right, let's just kind of speed through and see what happens. Oh, that's a nice catch. There we did it. We jumped on the tanks. This guy probably just doesn't know how to finish games, so he's trying to wait for liberators.
But his liberators were basically they overwhelmed me now.
Yeah.
It's rare that I lose to Liberator against a Terran, but this time was it.
Oh, we actually kill all of his air units there. That's so good for you. I mean, it's he's actually gonna try and take this base too. That's funny.
I remember.
He's just throwing some style at you.
This is bold. This is bold.
He actually overcommitted to the Liberators. You usually only want to have about 3 to 4 of them to slow push in, and the rest be Vikings, but that's funny. Oh, and you're gonna clean all this up too.
Well, as you said, I'm completely behind. My only way out is to destroy at least some of his.
You pretty much need to kill his army twice over and eliminate 2 of the 3 bases that he's up on you to have a chance.
Yeah, it's
that's what you need. A lot to go right here.
It's practically a lost cause. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just go back. We'll go back and we'll highlight the first 3 big things.
Yeah.
First one's the Reaper. We always want to build our Reaper on time. As soon as that 50 gas hits, Reaper. Second thing is when we scout 2 gas or 1 gas and we went 2 gas, we want to be on his side of the map with our units. We don't want to suicide them, but we want to be on his side of the map. Yeah. Until we see an even amount of units, like say your Reapers and Hellion scout that he has 2 Reapers and a Hellion, then we can back off a little bit and be defensive if we want. But if you have the unit lead, we should never be playing this defensive with our early units.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's 2 things. And then the third thing is this push out. You're doing everything, you're doing a lot of things right here. Definitely doing a lot of things right. It's just decision making is a little questionable. Like as soon as we see that bunker, we shouldn't have even tried to attack here. So that's probably thing number 3. So let's see, do I have that all written up? Reaper, more aggressive. Don't suicide units into a bunker. Turn around and preserve. It's better to be behind like 7 workers or 3. Like right now, I guess it's like, well, yeah, was it 7 workers ish? It's better to be behind those workers than to be behind and be behind in army units as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Around preserve units or look for an opening elsewhere. And what's the other thing I was gonna say? Oh, leave in mid-game or after first Reaper / Hellion fight. Send any remaining Reapers / Hellions to 3rd locations or to an attack path. That was the other thing we mentioned, right? Keeping the Reapers and the Hellion at those 3 spots so that when you see the move out, you can react to it a little bit sooner. And you can see if he's taking the 3rd base. All right.
Yeah,
so I think we beat this to death, this replay. There's not a lot.
I definitely got a lot from it, yeah.
Yeah. So let's get out of this one. Do you have another one do you want to go over, or do you want to like see what I'm doing in TVT? Because a friend of mine showed me a TVT build that's a little more aggressive early on, and I'm loving it. It's pretty awesome.
But I would love some feedback on my TVP if we have the time.
Yeah, we can do TVP. Got lots of time.
Then
okay, I'm gonna promote you leader. So let's find a TVP replay.
Wait, I have one. It's just 5 minutes, so it should actually be quite fast. It's probably a rush, which is not. If you give me a minute, let me.
Yeah, we're still going Tyrell. We're just working on coaching with a 3500 Terran right now. Moxie, the purpose of that medevac drop he was saying was he wants to try and do a little bit of damage, but he just didn't find it. We went over that a little bit earlier on. He likes to usually drop in the main, but we lost a bunch of stuff at the front to a tank hit in that replay. So let me know once you find the replay and you can start up the lobby.
One of my TVPs. Oh, no, sorry.
No worries, man. I just made Necro a mod and somehow somebody fucking tried to do one of those sell view bots in my channel here. What the heck? What are you doing, Necro?
Yeah, I don't remember if I won or lost that one. But
that's all right. We can still pick it apart. Let's make me the lobby host again.
No.
Oh, close. There we go. All right. So how do you like to play TVP right now? Do you go bio or mech?
I go bio.
Okay.
I've never tried even mech TVP. I go STQ 8 guide. So I get 2 tanks, team combat shield. I do a push at about 7 minutes.
Okay.
I mean, I do a mine drop first, and I do a push at 7 minutes. Then I get Ghost and Viking.
All right,
depending a bit on
what a solid build. Produces. It's a solid opening. QT tank attack at 7 minutes. Mine drop opening. Okay. So looks like he's already starting with something cheeky. Oh no, he's he's just scouting in a weird path. That's interesting. Okay. Let's speed this up a little bit. This is good. We're defending. Oh my god. Okay, nice.
I don't even remember what.
Awesome.
I don't even know why I did it.
So, do we normally scout a little bit later in TVP?
Yeah, I scout at 19, and the reason is that I found that scouting at 17. Actually, I found that when I scout at 17, I'm lacking some information that can be useful.
Okay.
And when I scout at 19, it's rare that if he's like proxy attacking me, I still have the time to defend. I've already found that I'm lacking time.
Fair enough.
And the upside is if I go at 17 and I don't see his nexus, I still don't know for sure if he's rushing me or not. If I go at 19 and I don't see his nexus, then I know. I found it a bit easier.
All right, it's definitely 19 is doable. In this situation where he's 2-gating though, it's a little bit scary to 19 scout because your 19 scout is going to get there when you want to build your CC. So if you start your CC on the low ground and he's 2-gating you, it's a little bit scary. It's not like super scary, but it can be tough to hold. Just like I think a lot of the pros 19 scout, I like the 17 scout, and I think 17 scout is fine all the way up until like probably GM. 17 scout is fine. You get a small economic advantage from the 19 scout and maybe a little bit more information, but your Reaper is going to get there in time to see the tech path more often than not. So it's up to you, but I prefer the 17 scouts even now, or even an 18 scout, just so if you see this, you can build on the high ground, and I think you're in better shape than if you built on the low ground and maybe rushed out 2 stalkers or 2 adepts or something before your bunker gets out. Because I don't know if you'll see the 2 gates in time. We'll see. Just something to consider. There's nothing wrong with 17 scouting, because right now, yeah, your CC is going to go down long before you see the 2 gate.
I mean, that's the thing, I almost always expand the low ground with against Protoss.
That's fine.
and then I build my bunker in the build one or multiple bunkers depending on what he does. But I always build the bunker on the low ground.
Yeah. A bunker on the low ground we might not be able to hold.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because he's got 2 stalkers coming across now. I don't know why one of them is rallying the other way. I guess he wanted to catch the Reaper, but like if he wants, you're doing the build right, which is good. You're doing like the order is perfect. You got the Marines, you got the reactor, you got the factory on time, and you got the second gas on time. It's just a little bit scary if he if he dives past that bunker, kills the SCV on the orbital or on the CC building. Now you're in an awkward place where 2 Marines are not gonna beat 2 stalkers in any situation ever. So
yeah,
he is, he's not doing it, so you're gonna get away with it, it looks like. But it's as you get a little bit higher, if you did see a 2-gate again and he scouted with his probe, usually they won't lose their probe attacking your CC. If he saw this, if I'm a Protoss at even 4200 and I see this, my first 2 stalkers when I'm 2-gating are gonna be behind your mineral line. You're never gonna finish this CC unless you pull like 10 workers.
Yeah, all right.
But it looks like you're gonna be fine though, so it doesn't really matter this game. What does the Reaper do? Did we click on the tech?
I think I saw the Twilight Council. 100% sure.
Okay, we're in the bunker, that's good. One thing that I learned from watching Special Coach Jason, which is really good, is as soon as you kind of get your scouting information with the Reaper the first time, rather than having it sit here and attack the Nexus, just click like anywhere on your mini map, like here, 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 to keep the Reaper alive. Because it looks like we're probably gonna lose it. We might save it here, but it's just as you get a little bit better, information and scouting becomes super, super important against Protoss. And it's great if you see the Twilight Council. That's awesome. That seeing that first tech structure is a big deal, but we want to keep the Reaper alive as long as possible, because then we can see his third base timing. We can see if he's going to move out. Kind of the same thing in TVP, right? Except the Reaper is kind of more important for it because it's faster than Marines, and Scouter Marines can get picked off by Stalkers very easily, or even Zealots with charge.
Yeah.
So looks like we're gonna lose the Reaper. Which again, oh no, we actually get out. Nice. Nice. So yeah, I think you basically did that, was you clicked in like the bottom right corner somewhere. And he's gonna find it though. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Hold up. Why did we go for a tech lab? Why did we go for 2 tech labs here?
I do tanks, 1 Raven.
Are we skipping the mine drop though? I thought we opened with the mine drop.
Oh, I must have the mine drop.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, we're skipping the mine drop.
I think. Oh, okay. I think here is my logic, and maybe it's flawed, but I went to his base. I remember now. I went to his base. I saw 2 gas. I saw a Twilight Council, and my reaction was, it's not an unlikely scenario that I get DT attacked quickly, so I need to rush to get to the Raven.
Not necessarily true.
That's also why I wanted to build a wall so early, because I know that the wall at the natural is a bit risky with the Stalker, but I thought if he DT rushes me and I have a wall, at least it's much harder for him.
Okay.
It might have been a bit of an overreaction, but I remember that's my thinking process. Like I saw the 2 gas and I saw the Twilight Council, and because also I noticed that it took him time to build the Nexus, so I'm like, okay, something's up.
Yeah.
I did not think he would rush me because I saw only 1 Stalker. I thought that's not it. And in a couple of cases when that happened, it has been a DT rush, so that's what I was preparing for.
Okay. So, couple of things. The Nexus was delayed because of the 2-gate, so you don't have to really worry about DT in that instance. If you see 2-gate, there will be a delayed Nexus. It's just the way it is. You have to.
Yeah, I guess.
2-gate.
You're right. You're right. That's fair.
And then second, as soon as that second Nexus goes off, whether they're going, Cybercore before Nexus, Cybercore after Nexus, 1 gate, 2 gate, they're always going to be on 2 gas. They're going to get their second gas like right after they plant the second Nexus. That's always going to happen. So that's not an indicator of DT. Now, seeing the Twilight Council, if you don't see anything researching, then maybe you can kind of think, all right, something might be up. And the wall is good in that instance. The wall is good there. I like the wall. It's in a good place where the bunker covers most of it, where he's going to have a hard time trying to pick off SCVs building it. But you don't want to... Going for the tech labs on both buildings and trying to rush a Raven out is an overreaction. And in TVP, we don't want to overreact to anything, and we don't want to do anything that's going to set us off course. What I mean by that is we want to stick to our build order almost as close as possible. So building the wall doesn't really affect our build order. Skipping the mine drop, that definitely alters our build order a lot. It's going to allow the Protoss to be a little bit more greedy, because he might Phoenix Scout, he might throw down a Robo and get an Observer after starting Blink or Charge, and he might see this and be like, where's or even just if 440 rolls around and there's no medevac out yet, he hasn't seen anything, he's like, where's the Widow Mine drop? There's no Widow Mine drop coming. Okay, I'm gonna chrono out some more probes and just get more and more ahead, because that's what Protoss does. He's already 4 workers ahead. That's just the way it is with Protoss. Even with his 2 gate opening and doing little to no damage, we've lost what, 1 workers? No, 1 worker and the Reaper. So realistically, like, this is normal for TVP, but if we don't do the mine drop, we have nothing to stop him from just taking a big lead worker wise. And we also have nothing keeping his units at home. He's got his stalkers on our side of the map pretty soon, and the mine drop makes him keep units at home. So whether that's all of them or just even some of them, we don't want him sitting, especially if we're going to do a tank push, we don't want him sitting right here, or right here, or right here, which he very well might do if he doesn't have a mine drop to worry about. If he's worrying about a mine drop and he's got his stalkers at home, that means he doesn't have stalkers in position to pick off units as they start to cross the map. And most tank pushes when you're crossing the map are going to have SCVs, some number of SCVs pulled, whether it's like 4 or 5, or it's a large number of them with a bigger attack. Usually, even if you don't pull SCVs and it's just, 2 tanks, a medevac, and a bunch of Marines or something like that at 7 minutes, then you still don't want to have units being picked off by blink stalkers or just even regular stalkers. So it's better to do the mine drop, and then this wall is perfect. If he's going to try and hit you with DTs, by the time the mine drop starts and you get your tech lab started, you should be starting your 2 extra barracks and your NG bay right after the mine drop, starts going towards his base. And if you're really worried about it, you can even turn this supply depot that's behind your mineral line right now can be an engineering bay instead. You're not worried about supply blockage right now. You're at 33 out of 54. You're going to be a little oversupply. So we don't want to deviate too much from our build. The wall doesn't deviate from our build, but skipping the mine drop does. And it creates kind of like a chain reaction where, all right, I didn't do the mine drop, so now he's ahead in workers. He's ahead on workers, and he doesn't have to worry about a mine drop, so now his units are on my side of the map. His units are on my side of the map, and now when I push out, he's picking units off all the way from our front door to his main. Now, because of all those things, our push is incredibly weaker, like it's a huge difference on how much weaker the push is, and now he can just crush the push no problem. Can you kind of see how like one thing led to another because we deviated from the build?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, totally.
So we don't want to skip the mine drop if we're doing something like this. We want to do something to keep the Protoss on edge, because we don't want to just get super ahead in workers and keep his units on our side of the map. Interesting barracks placement. It's a bold move, Cotton. Definitely... I don't think it's going to go up.
No.
We should probably build those right next to our tech labs.
It's an error. It's the DT.
Okay.
DT fear.
Okay.
I'm gonna expand my wall, but that was a mistake. I mean,
okay.
Should have.
That's all right.
Because I thought no point building another Okay,
Oh, because
that's it.
there's like a small hex where you might walk by. I see what you
That's
mean.
right.
I see what you
I
mean.
think it's made me paranoid over there.
Okay.
It's
So
definitely gonna cost me because, as you said, I'm gonna lose some SCV on this and minerals.
yeah, and meanwhile we're not doing anything to stop his production at all. Like he feels so safe right now because he's keeping you on edge with 2 stalkers. He's like he's
Yeah.
thinking to himself like, why is this guy so scared right now? Like there's no reason for him to be so scared. He saw the Twilight, he saw 2 gateways, he saw my expansion, but he's like got this huge wall and like no units, and there's no mine drop. We're 10 seconds late for a mine drop and it's not here. This is beautiful for Protoss. He's loving this. So the Raven comes out. And this is even better for him too. He gets some energy out of the Raven for free. This Protoss is just having the time of his life right now. I'm sorry to say.
It's fair.
So I'm gonna write down TVP. Do not deviate from the plan. If we're doing mine drop, do mine drop. And even if you don't do it, even if it's sitting in dead space, say you have it waiting here or over here, and even if he has units in position, that's units that are taking his mind away from your base. Those are units that are at his base, not threatening you, and you have that constant threat of a mine drop. So even if you see a bunch of units, you're like, whoa, I don't want to do that. I don't want to drop on those units. I want to wait for him to move those units. You can leave it in dead space right here for like 5 minutes, and then the second you try to do like a big engagement, when he moves all of his units, then you can go back and jump back to it and try and drop the mines. So it's just, you have so many more options when you have that mine drop available. And even if you do suicide it and, you know, drop the mines, they get 1 or 2 probes and force a pull, at least then, you know, we've done something to, we've done a little bit of economic damage. Even if it's just a pull and a probe or 2, it's done something. Whereas right now we've done nothing to hurt the Protoss. And that's the big
that's
thing.
fair. It's definitely an overreaction.
Yeah, and the overreaction was because we saw 2 gas. I'm going to write in the notes. Protoss will always get their 2nd gas after Nexus. Always. No matter what tech path. Okay. So we got NG Bay coming, 2 more barracks, 3rd CC. So on the plus side, our 3rd CC is coming down at the same time as his 3rd Nexus. He is getting +1 attack and transitioning to Robo with charge. I don't like this tank placement. I'm not a fan, but it's not detrimental. Ideally, we would want the tank either here or on the high ground. Because where it is now, it could block units, and it's harder to repair it. It's hard to repair if it's on the high ground too, but if it's on the high ground, you shouldn't have vision of it if you have a Raven.
Yeah.
Let's see if any... Oh no, can that tank actually get out? No, it's going to go to the top. Okay. What is our opponent doing? Yeah, we're so behind in worker count right now. But again, that's kind of Protoss with Chrono Boost. Protoss, when they take 0 economic damage, can reach like 70 probes so fast, and then all they have to do is throw down like 10 gateways, and you're never going to outproduce them.
Yeah.
It's just kind of the way TVP is. We got to do some sort of economic damage early to get a lead, and usually it's the mine drop. This is just playing around with these 2 stalkers. It's kind of funny. Blinking one way, blinking one the other way. So despite everything, do we have a supply lead? It looks like we do with this push out. What's the supply at? Army supply out. We have twice his army supply. This is a pretty strong looking push. Do you ever pull SCVs with your tank pushes like this?
I don't, but I saw one of your videos and you advised it, so maybe I should try. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't typically do it.
Yeah, especially with
don't think about it.
a little bit of a late third. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with pulling 5 workers. Maru does it all the time, where he'll pull like 5 workers and just set them to auto repair and follow a tank. And then when they get there, you can throw up bunkers, and it makes your push just a lot more. It could be a lot stronger with that. It's not needed. You don't have to do it, but something to consider.
Yeah.
And I would never use this auto turret in the open like this. Your Raven should just be set to following the tanks, and then you can throw the turrets down when you get to his base.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a mistake.
Yeah. Don't throw another auto turret. Don't get baited. Okay, that's good.
It's just, yeah, you select all troops, you attack, and then the Raven goes first, and it gets shot. And you're like annoyed. You're right. That's why following the tank is a good.
Yeah, it's something I had to get used to as well. So like, do you use control group stealing?
Yeah, I'm not completely familiar. I mean, I'm not at ease with them, but I know of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, basically, if I F2 to everything, hit Control 1, selected the Raven, hit Control 2, it'll take it out of the first group. And all I would do is I would set that rate, like, after you do that, if the Raven's in a separate, even if you don't do that and you just have it in a separate group, just have it set to follow a tank and then have all of your other units on one. It just makes your control that much easier. And then once the engagement starts, you can have the Raven, you can select the Raven manually, or you can hit 2 and then do the Raven stuff. But yeah, because it's faster now, it very often will go ahead of the rest of your units. So that's just one thing that I had to get used to, is selecting my Raven. And I do the same thing with my Ghost now. Any of my spellcasters, I'll have them just follow one of my units, usually a beefier one like a tank or like a marauder or something. And then when I need them, that's when I'll switch to them. But otherwise, you have to select everything, tab to get to your bio units, then stim, then control the bio, then control the Raven at some point during all that. It just gets really messy. And you also have tanks, so you got to siege up the tank. So all of that can be kind of avoided by having the Raven in a separate group, just following the tank. You can stim, siege, select your Raven. It's a lot cleaner than having to tab through everything. And it just makes microing a battle that much easier for you.
Yeah, for sure. I never thought about that, but it's a very good point.
Yeah, I'll put a note of that as well. So we scanned that, no base. Did we scan the other third location? No. But we're moving to that location, which is good. So him actually having that location is pretty good for you, because you can siege up from the high ground and hit those batteries. Did we do that? We can also siege up. So one thing we can do here, actually, no, let's watch first. Let's see what you do first, and then I'll explain it. Okay, we're gonna go for the low ground fight. That's fine too. All right. Before the fight starts, I like the tanks either better on the high ground here, or behind on this side here. You want to try and give your tank
on the mineral line, like,
like on the other side of that red tree where your medevacs are. If the tanks are on the other side of that red tree, they can hit the gas geyser, and they create an area where he's gonna have to kind of come through this choke point, and you can retreat back with your bio to the tanks that are behind that upper area. It gives them more shots basically at the Protoss army, and it gives your bio a little bit more room to maneuver. Right here, there's almost no room for them to maneuver before the tanks and the tanks are going to get jumped on pretty quick, because he's just going to come to his batteries and then kind of move towards your tanks. And if your tanks are on the high ground, they'll get more shots off, and if they're behind that red tree to the north, they'll get more shots off. They'll just get 1 or 2 extra shots, and it's just something to think about on different maps, is to where's the most optimal place to set up your tanks.
That's a very good point. Yeah,
this one's kind of way back here by accident. I guess we just kind of tabbed, selected our tanks, and one was way further back, so we sieged up behind everything. But yeah, I'm not in love with this, because it also will block your bio when you're trying to back up and when you're trying to stutter step. Whereas if they weren't there, it just makes it easier for your bio to move around. So I'll put that in the notes too. Just think about optimal tank placement. Don't just kind of leave them in the open. I'll write that note after we watch the engagement here. You did catch him out of position though. He has all of his units to the south. So we're going to get the Nexus. That's great. Excellent. Nexus and the batteries. He's got High Templar. Do we unsiege here and leave? Nope. Okay. This is a good choke for us. Oh, but we didn't back up in time. We ate nasty.
Yeah, I should have seen the Templars.
Yeah. That's, you know what, this still isn't even the worst. Oh, look at that. This tank's actually doing a little bit of work. So now we gotta worry about the counterattack, but he doesn't really have any Templar left. We have a bunker to retreat back to. We have Ghost on the way. Right? No, we're building Marauders and Marines. Okay. This is scary. We're gonna lose workers here. But we don't want to lose the CC. Okay. We actually don't lose any workers. He focused the CC. This is pretty good. This is really good for us. It's got no Templar. We're picking off units. We've got upgrades coming. +2 attack. Second NG Bay is not researching yet. We don't have the money for it, yo. 2 more barracks is okay. Right. So he double expands and goes triple Stargate. Oh my gosh. My heart weeps. Because he's not getting any splash. He had such good success with the High Templar. He's like, fuck it, we're going air now. The Templar were amazing. But we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to build Stargates. He wants to go Tempest. What the heck? Okay. Tempest or Carrier. So we should be prioritizing Ghost at this point, even though we don't have the upgrade yet, because the upgrade's close to finishing. And then considering a counter push, because we know his economy is worse than ours. The longer we wait, the harder this game gets. Because we would want.
Shouldn't I have yeah, I have spent a bit of time just to capitalize, because my thinking is okay. I killed his Nexus,
yep.
So I'm ahead economically. Which I realize is a bit wrong because actually he had 3 coming on 4. I'm like, okay, I need to spend at least 1 or 2 minutes capitalizing on his economy to get a better army.
Okay.
But maybe I'm wrong. And like.
So if we kill a Nexus, the way we did, then we killed a lot of the unit. Like you saw his army before it backed off when he was attacking your 3rd base. We'll back up a little bit more. Where's his attack on your 3rd? Right here. Okay, so right now this is a little bit scary, but we have good upgrades. We have a decent amount of units, and we have a Ghost Academy. So as soon as you start the enhanced shockwaves, we should be starting our first couple of ghosts. That's just kind of what we got to do. Yeah, we want to get Ghost Tech, especially after seeing that he went Templar Tech. We want to get Ghosts, and we have the building for it. You've got the right idea again. You want Ghosts, you want enhanced shockwave. You've got upgrades coming. That's awesome. Everything's looking good right now, except for those couple of storms we ate. And then, we're being a little bit picky with the tank placement. But otherwise, this is a good-looking game so far. This is definitely a winnable position. Because we sniped a Nexus. He's long-distance mining and double expanding desperately. He doesn't really have much of an army. And he's not really going to kill any workers here. He tries to focus this. And sure, the lift sucks. But we don't lose any workers really here. And he's going to lose a bunch of his zealots. And you're even landing it right in his face. You're like, haha, I'm going to push this back. No problem. So that's good. This is all really good for us. But we need ghosts coming out right now. We should have at least 2 to 3 ghosts coming out right now. Or at least started. Because we want the ghosts to come out when the enhanced shockwaves is finished. We don't want to be building ghosts. Well, we do. But we don't want to be, too late with our ghosts. Everything looks good except
I'm gonna get them, but you're right. They're too late at coming. I should have started them now.
Yeah, so if they come out by the time this upgrade is finished, we have a window of opportunity after killing his third base to end the game. Where his army is very small, we could spend a scan and see if he's, what his transition is. We should be scanning, either around here or here to try and see if he's got any Colossus or if he's got Disruptors or what his kind of tech switch is going to be after the Templar, because we always want to know what kind of splash damage he's going for. If he's going for more Templar, great. You already have the counter set up. You got lots of ghosts in the upgrade coming. I imagine a fourth base is going to be on the way soon. You've already got the production coming up. Everything's looking very good for you. But we want to know if he's going to tech switch. And he is going to tech switch to air, but it's going to take so long for that to happen that makes our window of opportunity even bigger. So we have an opportunity here to really crush him, because all it takes is like 2 EMPs. This whole army is dead.
Yeah.
So like right now we're ahead in supply. And if we can hit a timing with our +2 attack and 2 to 3 ghosts and win the game. So this is just a little bit of a misread on that. And that just comes from not really we're a little bit scared, right? Because he just attacked our third base. We're playing like he has more than he has. So being a little bit more liberal with scans, I'll write that down. We can maybe scan more as we get into the, let's say 9 plus, I'll say 8 minutes and later. To determine army size and tech. There we go. Because if we know the tech and we are building the counter to his tech and he has a small army like this, there's no reason why we can't be a little more aggressive. But we're playing on the back foot because we're a little bit scared after we got attacked.
Which... Yeah. I should have scanned for the tech and I should have attacked too.
That's okay. This is still a very winnable game.
No, this is...
we can still, again, we just need those ghosts to come out. If the ghosts were coming out right now, we could push across the map and +2 would finish and we'd have a very sick timing where we would probably just win the game. We'd EMP these Templar, get EMP'd, the cannon's not going to do fuck all, and he has very few charge lots. So we could just end the game, and he's got 5 gateways. He should probably have 10 to 15, somewhere in that range. He has 6, sorry. So we're sitting on a lot of supply. And our supply gets a little bit weaker as the game goes on if we're going bio like this, until we start adding our bigger units, like our ghosts and our liberators or battle cruisers if we want to do a battle cruiser transition, depending how good of our economy is. These bio units become a lot weaker as the game goes on. I don't mind the idea of dropping here, but I think we just could have, instead of doing that, we could have just attacked. And especially now he's going triple Tempest. So before the drop goes in, before we ever drop at this stage in the game, we should be scanning where we're about to drop. So we'll write that down too. Scan before dropping. Because what are we trying, we got to think to ourselves, what are we trying to accomplish with this drop? Right now,
I'm trying to harass,
Okay, yeah, we want to harass. But what else are we doing on the map? We're at home. So if all of his attention is at home, if we look at his vision right now, all of his, before even the medevac shows up, let's say, he's doing a defensive warping already. All of his attention right now is at his 3rd/4th base. It's all on his stuff, on his side of the map, because he's got an observer here. He can see all of your units here. And I mean, you won't catch the observers every time, but his attention is here. Now, the drop's a good idea to take his attention and keep it here while we move all of our units in the main, or at the 3rd, sorry. If we started moving out with all these units, say this way. Oh, I can't do that unless I'm on everybody. If we start moving all of our units this way when the drop goes out, now all of a sudden he sees that with the observer. He has to get units ready in the middle, in the center side of the map, and then maybe this drop does some damage. But because all of his attention is focused on his side of the map right now, and we're not doing anything else, this drop is doomed to fail from the start. It's gonna.
Hey, that's a very good point.
So, I like the idea, but we got to do something else if we're gonna drop. We don't want to just sit back here. So the drop comes in. again, we go to his vision. We'll slow it down. He's actually fortunate. He's macroing and he looks, and you boost right over top of 2 medevacs, or right over 2 cannons, sorry. So how we can stop this from happening is just a quick scan. We scan right here. Does he have anything here? Oh shit, he's got 2 cannons and all of his army. We're not going to drop here. Instead, we back this drop off, maybe, you know, scoot it around somewhere else, you know, send it all the way around that way, or we move across the map with our main army. Now that we have ghosts, you know, we move up the center, we keep the drop over here, and then maybe we boost over that to the natural after we move across the middle of the map. But we never want to, this is just donating units to him. This is just, you know, giving him a free 100 gas, 100 minerals, and then whatever's inside. It's, you know, thank you, Protoss says. Thank you for your donation. Please like and subscribe for more Protoss content. So, and again, you still have a huge opportunity to win right now. He has no air units yet, and he only has 1 form of splash, and you have the ghosts. You have them now, and you just saw his whole army with your drop. So we're still playing scared, and we shouldn't be playing scared. Because again, the longer this game goes, the more it starts to favor Protoss. And that's just kind of how late game is, unless we're very good at, you know, controlling our army. But once Protoss kind of gets that army of, you know, his 3 types of splash damage, and then adds some air units and lots of charged zealots, and then a warp prism in your main or natural, that's when the game starts to favor Protoss, when he can do all that kind of stuff. In the mid game, when it's like gateway units versus bio with medevacs, you know, bio with ghost medevac support and widow mines, that's when it favors Terran. It's we have very strong timings with all those units. But ooh, all right. Let's see here. I'll shut up for a second while your widow mines kill a bunch of zealots. That's good. Oh my god, all of his Templar are just, oh, they're asking for it. We missed all the Templar. Okay. And are we still gonna win this fight? Oh my gosh. So we just ate like the worst storms and still won this fight.
I tried to. Yeah, I tried to.
That was insane.
Yeah.
That was so good. Like, that's what happens when they don't build any other splash units. They, even though he got the nut shot for storms, we still kind of won that engagement until we overextended into the Tempest.
Yeah.
But the feedback range is not the same as the ghost range, so we should have been able to EMP all those Templar. If we EMP'd all those Templar, we annihilate that. Like, it's not even a little bit close. We'll back up just a little bit. We get 1 EMP off on the Immortal. But man, as long as the ghosts are out front, let's see how you control this.
Mineral patch is gone.
I can't see what you're... Alright, we're burrowing. It's fine. Ghosts are out the front. Everything's selected. We're looking at his units. Alright. So we were looking at his units, but we didn't tell our ghost to do anything. So that just, I think, will come with practice. Just a lot more practice using the ghost. Like, you had the perfect idea, and you were so close to just destroying him here. But we need to have our ghosts EMPing Templar, and not the rest of the army. The Templar are the priority. If you EMP anything after that, that's kind of a bonus. But the Templar are definitely the priority. And, you know, I could write that down or not. I think you probably already knew that. But we don't need to that's just gonna come down to practice, I think. But we don't need to EMP zealots and immortals if we haven't hit the Templar. Funny enough, I think you're still kind of in it. Got a 4th base coming. He's on 4 bases, but he has no splash damage. He's going mass Tempest. Okay, now he's adding Carrier. That's a little scary. Carrier and Colossus. I spoke too soon. You might be dead.
Yeah, I think I lose that one.
Just fine. We're getting a lot out of these
I mean,
replays.
Yeah, for sure. Damn it, because I'm really going blind.
Yeah. Let me try to get the EMPs there. Getting the Dark Shrine. Now we get some good. Oh my god, we killed him. Whoa. Let's go back. Let's go back. What happens here? Did we land the EMPs on everything? Did we hit all the Templar with EMPs? I started going faster because I thought he was going to roll you here, but let's see what happens. Stim. EMP everything except the Templar again. And somehow your Marines have superhuman strength, and when they get stormed, they don't die. I think it's because you have a lot of medevacs, but that's all right. Again, we took a really good fight, but we don't want to overextend.
Yeah.
We're extending into cannons and charge zealots. I think after that fight, we just wanted to back off. We don't want to overextend against Protoss because they actually have a very good defender's advantage. Terran doesn't really have a good defender's advantage against Protoss because of the Warp Prism, but you know, it's okay. I guess we get a Colossus, which is nice. But the defensive capabilities of Warp Gates are very strong. And despite this going pretty well for you, did he forget? No, he didn't. He's 3-3. We're also 3-3. Okay. Ghosts are pretty good even when you miss the Templar, I guess. That's my only assessment.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're amazing. But I should have jumped up.
But we overextended a little bit too much, and our macro is doing well.
Yeah.
Our macro is pretty good. You know, you're spending your money, or you got a lot of production. You just a lot of really good habits here. We're just, you know, not fighting as optimally as we could and playing a little bit scared early on. So let's speed up to the next fight here. We're both on pretty much equal bases. Oh, but he's 50 supply ahead.
Yeah, and I think it shows.
Yeah. I didn't realize the supply difference was that big. We're still almost winning this. It's so close. My heart weeps. We had a lot of opportunities to win this in the late game, the mid game, and all phases of this game we had opportunities to win. And that's not a knock on you, that's actually good. Like you've got the right idea, we're just not playing with complete information. And you're never gonna have complete information, but the more we can get the better. There was big opportunities where we could win. There were fights that we won where we just overextended a little bit too much. I know I get overeager a lot too, where I'll win a fight, I'm like, yes, and then I'll try and go forward, and then like a Colossus and a shitload of Zealots will pop up, I'm like, oh, right, he can warp in units, and then, you know, I do the same thing, right? So hindsight's 20/20, but I think you've got a lot of really good habits, for sure.
Yeah, I think here, like I didn't even know what his army looked like, and
yeah, I mean at this point it's over. It was over after the last fight. But, again, there's a lot of positives to take away from this. We'll do the same thing with the last replay. We'll kind of go to spots within it and kind of pick the more important notes. So we definitely have already do not deviate from the plan. Do the mine drop even if we leave it in dead space. It's still useful later. You know, don't skip that mine drop. We don't want to just let the Protoss sit there and get lots of probes for no reason. Or for free, I should say. So that's good. Scan more after 8 minutes to determine army size and tech. Scan before dropping is good too. And when we drop, we want to do something else. Move main army. Have a second drop ready. or something else to occupy the Protoss's attention. Let's just back up and see what else we can look at. Yeah, it's a great scout too. And you saw all the pylons. That's another good thing. So seeing the pylons is good for later scans, because now you know if you are afraid of DT, you saw where the pylons were. There's no way he's gonna have a hidden pylon in his main right and start the DT shrine before you can scan, say right around now. So you could, instead of calling down a mule, if you're really scared about it, then we can scan the main where the pylon was, or the natural where the pylon was, and we can find out if it's DT or if he's researching something. So that's another way we can kind of not overreact and still get our mind drop going. Everyone always wants to mule because, you know, we're behind in economics, but information is very important too. And if we're, you know, if we're using all of our mules and then building, you know, we're losing, you know, if we're losing resources elsewhere as a result of our lack of information, then those mules don't really make up for it. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with using your, you know, once this orbital finishes, there's nothing wrong with using that to scan, because your Reaper saw where the pylons were. There's nothing wrong with scanning like right here.
It could be in the back of his base, right?
Well, you saw, if we go back with the Reaper, we'll go back a little bit. So this is when your orbital is getting close to finish. You saw the Twilight with the Reaper at this point.
Yeah.
And you kind of made the decision like, oh, I need to wall off. He's going DT. So yeah, even if you think he's going to put it behind, there's no other pylon there. You saw that there was no other pylon there. And you want to say scan right here. You're going to get all that radius. You're going to see all around his main. You're going to see by the Twilight Council. You're going to see the 2 gates with that scan. So you're going to see that and be like, okay, maybe he's not going DT. And you might also see the research. So you know how you can see if he's like chronoing or if the building's moving, if he's researching something. Like as soon as this research starts, the building starts moving up and down a little bit.
Yeah.
And if he chrono boosts it, it's an even bigger indicator that he's not going for blink. He's going for some sort of research instead. So,
yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with using a scan there. And if there is a hidden DT shrine on the map, just getting your oversupply here, so getting the engineering bay a little bit sooner instead of deviating from the plan is okay too. Like getting the engineering bay instead of, you know, one of your barracks, like say go barracks, engineering bay, then a second barracks. See you, Gabe. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, if you build the engineering bay instead of racks, so you go racks, engineering bay, racks, that's fine too, and that'll be okay. So I'll write that down. Faster NG bay. If you think there are DT, get it before 3rd racks. Okay. Oh, that's what I was gonna say, the Raven thing.
Yeah.
And you can do the same thing with your ghosts too. So we'll do say have spell casters in separate hotkey and set them to follow main army unit tank/marauder. That way it's easier to micro. This will make it easier to micro. with tank push. Keep in mind where is the best place to siege tanks, or to set up tanks for additional hits. This will also make it easier to move your bio back and dodge storm / disruptor / colossus. Okay. I think that's everything we can go through with that replay. We'll just...
It's a lot of good feedback.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, one more thing actually. If we win a fight, scan 3rd or 4th base location to see enemy army size. There we go. So if we win a fight, we want to know if we can go across the map and push and win, like we had the opportunity to earlier with the ghosts. And if we scan and we see a shitload of gateway units, we can say, all right, let's sit back and macro a little bit more. And then we have a little bit of justification for playing safely if we scan and see a whole lot of units. I think that's everything.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, cool.
All right. Do we have any like diamond Terrans in chat? Is there any diamond Terrans in here? Yes, Dragon Slayer, we are doing a little bit of coaching. If we have any diamond 3 Terrans, speak now. We can play, or sorry, diamond Protosses or Terrans, I guess. Any diamond 3 Terran or Protoss. Or diamond 2, that works too. If we have any of that, then we can maybe get a practice game here. I'm gonna switch over to America because maybe I have someone on my friends list there. Dragon Slayers float between D2 and D3. Are you Protoss?
Yeah,
Dragon?
I mean.
Sorry.
Right.
Oh, he's Protoss. Perfect. All right, we'll play a TVP. I'll switch back to EU.
Okay, great.
So we'll play a TVP, and we'll just we'll go over the opening.
Great.
Chat channel. There we go. And then as soon as Dragon Slayer is ready, oh, we'll tell him EU server. As soon as he gets here, we'll do that and wrap up. I think we got a lot of good feedback here.
Yeah, no, thank you. That was very instructive. A lot of things some things that I knew, but a lot of things that I didn't know or didn't think about. Or
yeah, that's good.
Like especially the timing of the attack. I think I'm thinking definitely of the TVP. Like it's been a number of times that I push at 5, or whether I push at 7 or 8. I destroy his main base, then I go back, I retreat, then I try to macro. Little do I know that he built like 2 or 3 additional Nexus, and before I know it, he's out macroing me. Basically, yeah, that happened to me quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a common thing for Protosses to do when they lose a base, is that they'll double expand to try and because they got to catch up somehow, right? If they just take their third, they're just gonna still be behind, and you'll be on 3 bases to their barely 3 bases. But if they have the money for it and they throw down 2 nexuses, then they'll be and they'll be able to jump back ahead where they want to be, right?
Yeah, exactly. And because I don't push and I'm like, okay, I won the war economically, I'm gonna go back, then I don't notice it, which definitely.
I don't know how often you look for observers over your main army, if you do like the zoom in trick to try and find them. If you don't, there's nothing wrong with before move out just scanning over your main army to see if there's an observer there too, just so that he doesn't meet you on the map somewhere. If at the end of the day, if you scan and there's nothing there, it's not going to make a huge difference to your economy. But we definitely want to be against Protoss. We have to be a little more liberal with our scanning. Against Terran, we can have like scouter marines everywhere because it's marines against marines, and even against Zerg, we can have some marines out scouting the area all over the map. But against Protoss, because it's so easy for them to wipe up scouter marines, it's still handy to use them, but it's better to just have to be able to at least use your scan and get for sure information, even if it's not everything.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do you ever do a second Reaper? Like let's assume you make a first one and it dies, but you suspect there's a base somewhere. Do you ever do a second Reaper?
I never build a second Reaper, no. If I lose the first one, then I'm pretty much playing scared, and I'll build maybe an extra bunker, but I'll never build a second Reaper because that'll delay your reactor, and that'll delay a lot of other things because you're spending 50 gas on another Reaper that might not do anything.
Yeah, I meant like you get your Reaper, you get a Marine, you get your reactor, you're pumping out Marines, but just once you pump out a Reaper to be able to scout. I don't know. Nobody does that, but I'm thinking, but probably a bit dangerous if the other side has map control and.
Okay, I think Dragon Slayer's logging on now. We'll do a quick game. We'll try and do everything, and I'm not going to give away anything he's doing, but if I see little things, I'll be quiet for the most part. But just think about everything we kind of gone over in TVP, and just try to do the build order that you're doing, the mine drop into the tank push. But just kind of remember what we talked about, not overreacting, and just making the small adjustments and sticking to the biggest thing I think is sticking to the build order, right? So
yeah.
Sticking to that plan. So he says he plays a little bit different from others. Steve says
is that gonna be a cannon rush?
Yeah. That doesn't help us, Steve. We don't want cannon rushes. We're one thing at a time here.
When the Protoss says I have a different build, I get nervous.
It's all right. You want to know what you do against a cannon rush? You just preemptively wall everything. You metagame. You wall off your ramp, you get a tank, and then you build fucking 12 Vikings. And as long as you don't lose everything to a Void Ray or your Tempest or the enemy Tempests, then you win.
Yeah.
It's not fun. I did it like 3 times today against Samuel. I had to play against him, and he literally just cannon rushes every game, and it's so frustrating to play against.
It's really frustrating because your mind is in the macro game, and before you know it, you have to manage a bunker.
It's just not fun the way he plays it and does it every single time.
Yeah, exactly, because I think that's the thing. Like, it's such a micro game, but as a Terran, you get it once every 30 games or 50 games.
Yeah.
And he gets it every single game, and so obviously he's going to be much ahead in terms of reflexes.
Yeah, and he, like, I don't know, I guess you can say that, like, I do the same thing in a lot of my games, but it's like the same macro play, and I adjust my play from there. He just cannon rushes every single game, and it's not fun. It sucks the wind out of my sails, man. Dragon's got the anticipation here is killing me. Launcher is loading, SE2 is loading, chat channel will be loading soon.
Wait, so he told you what his build is gonna be?
No. He just said that he's slowly opening the game.
Okay.
one of these years he'll get here.
What's taking so long?
It could just be as an older computer, it takes a little bit longer to load up StarCraft. His
Cool.
laptop sucks, he says. There we go. It's alright. We got all day, Dragon Slayer. Actually, not really. I've only got about an hour before I have to go to work.
You're working.
Yeah, I gotta work night shift tonight.
Okay.
But I think we're almost done anyways. It's been
Yeah.
almost 2 hours, but I want to get this game done. We really analyzed those replays. We went through a lot of that. Now I want to actually play a game and put some of this to practice. And then, you know what I'll do? Save this. Coaching with Manu. I'll send you this over Discord while we're waiting for Dragon Slayer. Oh shit, where did I save it to?
Awesome.
Did not mean to save it there. That's okay.
You're in Canada, right?
Sorry?
You're in Canada?
Yes. Yeah,
Whereabouts?
northwestern Ontario.
Okay.
Kind of the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Nature must be amazing there, but sure it's different.
The weather's pretty nice right now.
Okay. It's getting spring, I can imagine.
It's actually been quite nice. It's been like 20 degrees Celsius almost every day this past week. So that's been really nice.
Does it get really hot in the summer?
Not really. The hottest it gets here is like maybe 35 Celsius, but it'll only be like that for like maybe 2 weeks of the summer. The rest of the summer will be around 25 degrees.
Oh, that's perfect.
All right, I sent you the text document with all the notes that I took.
Awesome. Awesome, thank you. That's a lot of good feedback for me
Not
to
a problem.
implement.
And then what I'll do too is when I'm turning on the stream, I'll just cut the video out with your coaching, throw it up on YouTube, give you the YouTube link, and then boom. If you ever want to look back on it, you can kind of see if you ever forget anything, if there's something we went over that's not in the notes, you can see it that way.
Cool.
There's Dragon Slayer. All right. The man himself. All right. We're going to custom. Not big game hunters. There we go. Eternal Empire. Great map. Great lobby. Again, I'm gonna... No problem. I'm gonna stay relatively silent for this, and I'm just going to... If I see anything glaring, or if there's any questionable decisions, then I'll kind of pop in like, why are you doing this? Or we're forgetting something. But for the most part, I just want you to kind of go through the build order as you know it, and we'll see how the game goes. All right?
Cool. Be sure to do that.
Dragon Slayer. Time to upgrade the laptop. Methinks. Invite again. Okay. Let's go again. There we go.
Great.
So we'll do this. Do this. Dragon Slayer can select Protoss whenever he's ready.
Ready.
I just want to make sure he's ready before I start it. Okay. Good luck, good luck.
SCV ready. SCV ready. SCV ready. SCV ready. SCV ready. SCV ready. SCV ready.
Reaper's on time, that's good.
Your CC is now a BCC, a better command center.
The Grim Reaper has arrived. SCV ready. Who wants some? Armed and ready.
Make sure all our units get in that bunker. Because we saw 2 stalkers.
SCV ready.
Add-on complete.
Burrow the mine in front of the bunker.
Front of the bunker.
Yep.
Your command center?
Take everything out of the bunker and take your SCVs and attack the stalkers.
This better.
Good job. Send the Reaper out. Check for a third base, then a natural, and then dive in the main.
SCV ready.
Get the mines ready to go.
Gangway coming through. SCV ready.
Add-on, finish up. You picked that one?
Good scout. Sure, the mine drop is on its way to the dead space behind the natural.
Armed and ready. Who wants some? You want a piece of me, boy? Fueled up, ready to go.
Check your mine drop. Okay. Keep that drop there until you're ready to push.
Your add-on has been constructed.
SCV ready. Go, go, go. This better be good. SCV ready. SCV ready. Ready to roll out. It's about to get heavy.
Your add-on.
Very good hold. Send the mine drop back, but be wary of the cannon.
Go time. Go, go, go. Let's have a blast. SCV ready. It's a
I want to push now because I see a third base
Yep.
before mine.
Go for it. Take all of your units together.
armed and ready. Boom, baby.
I would just F2 and move everything to where your mine drop is.
Research all done.
A move to where your mine drop is.
Research is
And
done.
start at third
Your
base
forces
when
are
you
just
can.
a little bit better.
Oh, you already did.
Have
Never
already.
mind. Extra barracks then.
Gangway coming through. Oh, it's on.
Ready for dust off.
Good tank placement. Build a missile turret at your natural.
It's go time.
Upgrade is all done.
Just the front of your natural base is good. Nicely done.
Mind out of that cluster. And still in the game? Nice.
Ready for dust off.
Ooh, watch the Raven. We don't want to lose the Raven. That's okay.
Against DPs, yeah.
Yeah, it's alright, you can see them. Move towards his natural and be ready to scan in case you see them attack your units. Scan forward.
It's on.
At his nat. Oh no, his natural base. There you go.
Yeah.
Move in.
For dust off.
Crush it. Scan again your army. There you go. pylon than the Nexus.
SCV's under attack. Save the boys.
Did we get a turret at the natural wall?
Not at the wall, no.
A mineral field.
Okay, we should have one at that wall. Never mind the cannons, move up into the main
Yeah.
and scan the top of the ramp.
It's a disaster.
It's-
Oh no. This is why we wanted the forward. That's okay. Let's rally to your ramp.
He had the blink.
Yeah. Scan your army.
I can't.
No.
They're all
Uh,
knocked down.
Land your CCs, and then we can do it. There we go.
Your precious base. It took dummies to build.
Just rally to where your wall is. Because you've got missile turrets in there, and scan your army.
Base under attack. Time to lift to the corner and pray.
Good job.
Cool.
That was very good. So you can kind of see how... Did you rewind or did you not rewind?
Yeah, I'm doing that now.
Okay. So the first thing I would look at is when your mine drop goes off. Or goes to his base. That's what I would back up to. Because up until that
Okay.
point, you played very well. Gave you a little bit of backseating, but that's all right. I didn't want to distract you too much, but
No, that was great.
so the mine drop goes off. Save it from the cannon, so that's good. Even having it sit there, he didn't really stay there with his units, but it made him build things he didn't want to build. He didn't want to build those cannons.
Did he see my mine drop?
I don't think so, but almost every Protoss is going to prepare as if you're going to mine drop. Just at lower levels, you're going to see people over prepare by building cannons. That'll just happen naturally.
Yeah.
He thought he would have a third. I think he was building a third after the mine or after the push out. This build's designed to create heavy pressure early at 7 minutes. I think he was preparing to push out at 7 minutes, and then you came in and attacked Dragon. But this was a really good this was a really good game for him to learn. To the like everything went really well, I think.
Yeah,
So with the DTs,
I've never
though,
seen.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I've never seen that kind of attack with
The charge attack. Sometimes people
Well,
will do it. Usually it's with a war prism though.
exactly. I would expect the same attack plus 7 zealots in my main.
Yeah.
That's
Which-
really tricky.
Yeah, it's a little the way he did it, it came earlier, just you had a good wall set up and he kind of all of his units
Yeah.
hit at a strange time. So the only glaring issue was the DT management at the early part. So you saw it with
Okay.
the Raven here, which is great. You know there's DT, and that's why I said build a missile turret at your natural. And I think you built
Yeah.
it to defend against a drop. You built one, I don't know if you can see my pings, but you built it in like the bottom right corner of your base.
Yeah.
What
yeah.
I'll do if I see
You're right.
DTs like this is you want to build it in your wall somewhere, in your natural wall, because
Yeah.
even if he blinks past it, you're still gonna have the range, and you're rallying at home, so you're still gonna have the range with the missile turret to see where they blink to and probably kill them. And then with a quick reaction, if he does get out of the range, you can scan and kill them, but they're not gonna actually get into your main that way. So that's what we want to do. Where if you see where there's like that little hole in your wall between the two depots and the above the bunker at 7 minutes and 45 seconds, are you at that point-ish?
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. So at
45
7:45, this is a great
Yeah.
time to finish your wall on the north side of your wall by building a missile turret there. If there's a missile
Yeah.
turret there and units in the bunker, there's almost no way counter DTs are going to hurt you. And you don't really got to worry about the drop so much. Because if, say he does drop them in your main, then you just rally to your ramp and the missile turret almost covers all that area. And as soon as you have like enough army or units that can fight the DTs, you're going to take damage in your main, sure, but you're doing way more damage on his side of the map, and you have a Raven over there, and you're going to have enough damage, you're going to have enough units eventually at your natural ramp to just be able to go back to your main, scan, wipe up the DTs, and then focus more on the main army again.
Yeah, the combo of a bunker plus a wall plus a turret can be very powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only thing different I would suggest in this. And then again, having the Raven kind of follow your units instead of moving it over the cannons.
For sure.
It takes practice, but that's the only thing I would change. Otherwise, you played that very well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all the feedback and the advice. This was awesome from you. I learned a lot.
No problem, man. I would save the replay too, just so you can kind of look back on it. I sent you the text file. When I'm done streaming, which will be very soon actually, I'll have to probably do it tomorrow. I'll clip the VOD, or I'll change the VOD up so that it's got the coaching part of it separate from the rest of it, so you can access that anytime.
Cool. Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
Great.
Thank you very much, Dragon, for popping in for that game. I appreciate it. Thanks, Dragon. All right, and I hope this helps a lot, man. I hope
yeah, definitely.
Hope to see you crushing some Protosses soon. Terran,
thank you so much, Missouri.
No problem, man. Take care. Whew, that was a lot of talking and a lot of analysis. Let's switch over to NA. And actually, I don't think I really have enough time to make... I gotta make some food for my night shift tonight and get ready for that. So I think that's going to end the stream there. Welcome back, TJ. We just finished an hour and a half coaching session with Manulorc. I think that's